Now here we have a Robinhood Supertub, and on this one the washing machine tap has seized. That's all the amount of movement I can get out of it, and it will not turn on to allow hot water into the tub. So something's binding up inside and we'll have to get in there to have a look. First, to start off by pulling off the taps. These just come off with a little bit of a yank, held on by these clips. Next we use a big crescent wrench to undo the nuts. Now we have to reach underneath the tub and pull through the tap assembly. First we need to turn off the water supply so that we can disconnect the hoses. I also like to let the residual pressure out off the lines, hot and cold, before opening the tap so that it doesn't blow up in my face. Here you can see the tap manifold. We need to get this whole thing out, but first I need to disconnect this line here, which goes to the mixer tap, and then I can pull it all the way down, and then I may also need to disconnect these two supply lines here. This is the supply line, and this is the hot water line that goes to the washing machine. Letting the pressure go in that tap earlier, it's still dripping a bit, so I'm going to throw an old towel down. That'll just help to stop it making a mess that I have to clean up. Okay. That's too tight. I'm going to have to put it in the vise. So that's alright. Oh. Oops. I'll just unscrew these. I'll just make it a bit easier. Okay, I've got the tap manifold in my vise now, and we'll just crack this one off. So what happened with the last one that I had was inside here, you can see this is still jammed up. So what I have to do is actually try and get this out entirely, because it's binding up inside. Not allowing it to go the full distance. I might even have to undo that nut. Take off the small nut holding on the washer. While I'm in here, I may as well flip the washer over as well. It's not too bad actually. I'm going to have to pull that apart further. But I'll pick the best side. I think that's actually that one. Put this back on for now. Okay, there's a little circlip in here. Focus it. There we go. Little circlip in there. I'm going to knock that out, then that shaft will drop through. There we go. Alright, let me explain how this was binding up. If this is screwed in so that the washer is contacting the bottom too hard, i.e. you're turning the tap off too hard, if this washer has gotten a bit compacted, sometimes the I don't know what you call this bit here, but the moving plunger, I guess, you see it's got a hex part on here which fits inside a similar shaped hole. Now this has to be lined up obviously like a nut inside a socket. If it comes out too far, this nut part comes out of the socket part and turns ever so slightly, and once it turns out of alignment, no matter what you do, you cannot turn the tap to turn it back on again. You have to disassemble it like this. Pretty poor design if you ask me, but hey, it's what we've got to work with. So what you have to do when you're putting it back together is fiddle around with it until you feel it sort of nestle into the socket part. It's a bit fiddly. There we go, that's it. So I just felt it go click there, and now it is going all the way into the barrels. So the nut part is going inside the socket, and now the tap will turn all the way on where it wasn't before. All it was doing was maybe going to about here, and that was all I was getting out of it. So I was probably getting maybe 10% out of water out of the tap, and the washing machine was complaining that it wasn't getting enough hot water, so it kept beeping at us. But now it's going the full travel. I can put it back inside here. Now it's a good idea, while you got this apart, put a little bit of white grease on there. Never hurts to have a bit of lubricant. this wrench that I'm using is way too big for this job, but I can't be bothered getting the other one out. If you are using a big wrench like this, just go easy on the fitting. No need to lean into it when you're tightening it. It's just a brass fitting. 1.5 white knuckles, as my dad always said. So about there, that's all it needs. Alright, let's put it back together. Just double check. Yep, all the way out, all the way back in, so that's off and on, fully off, fully on. Good, it's working as it should. While you've got these hoses off, it's a good idea to have a look inside to check that there is A, no debris in there that you could clear out, and B, check that the rubber washers haven't perished and that they're seated properly. If they've perished, it's a good idea to replace them. Again, these don't have to be super tight, just a 1.5 white knuckles. Alright.
Two hours later.
Now we can put these nuts back on. Again, not too tight. 1.5 white knuckles. And then pop the taps back on. Filling free. Excellent. That one's still good too. So just a reminder with these kind of taps, don't wrench on them so hard to turn them off, because that will pop them out of alignment. Alright, let's go turn the water back on and test it. I like to turn them on slowly when you've vented the system, because of the air in there in the system. I don't know, it might not be anything to worry about, but that's what I do, just so that doesn't cause a big shock to the water system inside the house. Cool. Now we're going to check for leaks. Just turn that on, leave that on, cold one's on as well. Check underneath for any leaks. If you feel around it with your hands, that's a good way of checking when it's a bit dark. Those feel dry. We'll check the one above it. Feels okay as well. The mixer tap. Oh. remove the towel. Seems right under there. I'll make the wife a bit happier. Happy wife, happy life. So there's how to fix your old Robinhood taps that have jammed up. Wish you all the best and good luck with your fixing. See you next time.